Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us. As my first question, a lot of people say Iran is just going to be North Korea, a country that agrees to stop its nuclear ambitions in order to get sanctions lifted, and then secretly goes ahead and continues with its program. Why do you think Iran is not North Korea?
Well, there are many reasons why it's not. First of all, it's a member of the NPT. Secondly, they have engaged in a negotiation. Thirdly, they have committed to have daily inspections of certain facilities. They have committed to restrict their activities with those inspections taking place. And in addition to that, they have publicly committed that they are not going to build a nuclear weapon. North Korea already has and has tested and will not declare a policy of denuclearization. So there are many different things that lead one to at least say that we ought to be exploring and testing the possibility of a diplomatic solution. But let me be clear, we do that with eyes absolutely wide open. We have no illusions. You don't do this on the basis of somebody's statements to you. You do it on the basis of actions that can be verified. And moreover, we have kept the basic architecture of the sanctions is staying in place. There is very little relief, and we are convinced that over the next few months, we will really be able to put to the test what Iran's intentions are.
So you, at this point, trust Hassan Rouhani, the new president in Iran, to be able to follow through. Are you convinced that he has the power to do so? Because you know that the hardliners in Iran certainly are singing a different tune than has been sung at the negotiating table.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're well aware of that. And the simple answer to you is none of this is based on trust. It's not a question of trust. It's a question of having the verification and the intrusive inspections and the insights into the program and the commitments that can be held accountable so that you are in fact creating a fail-safe mechanism by which you are making your judgments. None of this, when you're dealing with nuclear weapons, it's not an issue of trust. As the old saying goes of Gorbachev and Reagan, trust but verify. Verification is the key. And President Obama and I have said since the beginning, we're not just going to verify or trust and verify, we're going to verify and verify and verify. We have to know to a certainty so that Israel, Gulf states, ourselves, nobody can be deceived by what is taking place.
One of the points that the Israelis and others who have been unhappy about these negotiations have made is that there's a difference between halting a march toward nuclear capability and actually dismantling the mechanisms you need to build nuclear bombs. Here you have halted it, but not dismantled it.
Absolutely, of course.
What do you say this morning to the Saudis, to the Israelis, who will say that they feel less safe, that Israel, in fact, is threatened?
Well, Israel is threatened by what has been going on in Iran, but I believe that from this day for the next 6 months, Israel is in fact safer than it was yesterday because we now have a mechanism by which we are going to expand the amount of time in which they can break out rather than narrow it. We are going to have insights to their program that we didn't have before. We're going to have a destruction of the 20% enrichment. We're going to have a limitation on the low enrichment at 3.5%. We're going to have a limitation on the building and installation of centrifuges. I mean, Israel, if you didn't have these things, would be seeing Iran continue on a daily basis to narrow the breakout time, to continue to do the things that it's been doing. So I believe that Israel, in fact, will be safer, providing we make sure that these sanctions don't get lifted in a way that reduces the pressure on Iran, and we don't believe they will be. There's very little sanctions relief here, and the basic architecture of the sanctions stays in place.